You are going to be a millionaire. Yes, that's right. You're going to become a millionaire. Imagine someone saying you're guaranteed to become a millionaire if you watch something. 100% guaranteed. No tricks, no scams, just sit down and learn. That's exactly what this is about. If you watch this video from the start to the end, you will become a millionaire. Guaranteed. If you listen, learn and don't make mistakes I'm talking about, you in fact are going to become a millionaire. I will take you through all the steps and mistakes I made, and every single step is important as the last one. At the end, what do you have to lose? Let's say this video is going to be an hour or 2 hours. That's nothing compared to you learning and becoming a millionaire. And in fact, it's guaranteed. If you watch it to the end, you will become a millionaire. The main thing I'm talking about here is how binary options helped me become a millionaire. Before we go into everything, if you don't want to make money, if you're not ready for it, if you don't want the harsh truth about everything, if you don't have the patience to watch the video to the end, please just go now. Leave. Go somewhere else where you will be fed lies, be tricked, scammed, who knows what. And I'm being serious. If you don't want it, just go. Now, if you really want to change your life, sit down and listen. This is going to change your life. If you're into trading, if you started trading, if you're a binary trader, forex trader, a stock trader, whatever. If not, just leave and have your head filled with lies. My editor made few videos with different titles, but all of them are true. I don't know how that works. He said there will be different titles, different videos. Whichever one you're watching, everything is the same except the title. He said people will find it easier, and also you should thank him and my new girl for making me do this. I'll explain that one later. And that one is also combined with how I'm making money right now without doing anything. I told the editor I want the video to be boring, just because we can filter out people that are not serious about trading or making it. So if you see something interesting here, he said he will fill it, he will make it interesting, more interesting or whatever. If not, you're gonna see me trading options and having fun, just earning pocket money. And also I will explain how I'm doing that as well, of course. When I started, this wasn't pocket money, this was everything. Like, if I could ever imagine I would be making this much at the beginning, I wouldn't believe it. But at the moment, it is pocket money. It is my fun money. It's for spending on ridiculous stuff or traveling or whatever. But mostly spending on ridiculous stuff because I'm a nerd and I like ridiculous stuff. Like really crazy stuff. And for all of you looking at the chart, you will see I'm just chasing reversals here because that was the idea for the day. It is more complicated than just chasing reversals when we start talking about real strategies, of course. I'm retired, so what you're seeing I'm doing just for fun at the moment. Also, I am making money, but not working anymore. I started without having anything to eat at home. Bills were late, I was literally at the bottom. And now this is not a sad story just to be connected with you or put myself in your shoes or something like that. These are facts. I was and am literally sick from people online telling you sad stories just to be connected with you in order to sell you their course or shit like that. Exhibit A was Beckham's wife, I think.
We're very working class.
Be honest.
I am being honest. I am being honest.
What car did your dad drive you to school in?
So my dad did...
No, one answer.
My dad...
What car was it?
Alright, it's not a simple answer because...
What did you get your dad to drive you
It
to
depends.
school in? No.
Okay,
What
in the
car?
80s my dad had a Rolls Royce.
Thank you.
It's not only his wife, it's also Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, all of the gurus, all of the influencers, all of them telling you sad stories, but they had someone to lend them 100k, 200k, $500,000. They had investors, they had rich grandparents or something like that. You had money coming from nowhere, right? What if you don't have that, like me? And then they're telling you a sad story how they were struggling and so on. You have a Donald Trump interview saying he had a hard time. His father only lent him $1 million.
About it. It's not been easy for me. It has not been easy for me. And, you know, I started off in Brooklyn. My father gave me a small loan of $1 million.
What the actual fuck? I lost everything multiple times. I learned a lot during those losses. And then I had to starve for 2 months in order to save 500 euros in order to make what I'm making today. So the next time you're watching any YouTube video of any person showing their face, showing their wealth, showing how much money they have, or something like that, ask yourself this question: why are they doing that? If you have a lot of money, you don't have to be there. You don't have to film yourself, you don't have to do shit like that, and so on and so forth. You will also understand why I'm doing this by the end of the video as well. And also, before you trust anybody or buy their course or whatever, do the background checks, do the research, see where the money is coming from. See, did they really make it? And see if they're transparent or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I bought a bunch of courses and some of those were okay. I'm talking about 5%. Now here's the list of things we're gonna talk about, and this is everything you will ever need in order to make it in the trading world, in business world, everywhere. So keep close attention, listen to it, and I promise you, you will look at everything differently by the end of the video. Main points we're gonna cover are keeping your mouth shut, don't scam your family, friends, or anybody. Learn what you're up against, meaning learn everything there is to learn. Emotions are a fucked up thing. How we lose and how we make money. Staying under the radar. Trading platforms and issues with them. Don't trust people. I'll repeat that again. Do not trust people. Taxes are a shit show. Should you avoid taxes and how? How to spend money you earned. How I did it and how I'm making money now. And my strategies. Most of these things apply not only in trading, they apply in life, in business, in everything. Now let's get started. Keeping your mouth shut. What I mean by that, when you start trading, it's gonna be really interesting at the beginning. When you start learning stuff, when you start making money, when you start experimenting with different strategies, you're gonna be ecstatic, you're gonna be happy, you're gonna see everything going up and up. And if you're something like me, you will want to tell people. You will want to tell your friends, you will want to tell your parents if you have them. You will want to tell everybody, get them on the train and stuff like that. And that's where you are wrong. That's where I was wrong as well. For an example, let's say you started making strategies and seeing results on a practice account and started talking. You will have few types of people around you, and none of those are going to help you actually. First type of people are believers. So this type of people are the people that have trust in what you're saying, believing in your results and potential. They will boost your energy. And that's the issue as well, because that will boost your ego and you will start making mistakes because you think you're an invincible. You will start believing in your strategy and yourself blindly. But here's the catch. Did you actually test your strategy enough? We're talking real long run. What will happen when market isn't going the way you want it to? We as humans have a flaw. It is wanting to be right, and that's the itch you have when you see some video on social media with the obvious mistake and you immediately want to comment on it to correct the video creator or something like that. And you feel justice or like a rock is lifted off your shoulders if you do it or see someone else did it in the comments. That's the issue when people are boosting your ego. You will get confirmation that you are right even though you might not be right. And also these people that trust you and boost you are the people wanting to invest and get a profit off your back. So be careful. One of the worst things that can happen is that you take their money and lose it all. Then the real shit show happens. But there are even worse things than that. People give you money, then the worst thing happens, you start making them money, then they will put everything they have to invest in you. And that's the issue. I saw people losing literally everything. So do not take anyone's money. Try to avoid it in any way possible. If that's not a possibility, if you have to take somebody's money, take as little as possible. Take the amount you can live with losing it. If your strategy is good, you will make it with $100 on the long run. The second type of people are the curious ones. You will have them questioning you and asking you questions. How it works, is it really the way it is, are you really making that much money, and so on and so forth. Then you will do everything in your power to explain trading into detail, how trading works, just in order for them to trust you and believe you can make money with it, or that your strategies are great and show good results. Now, a simple question is, why would you do that at all? Why would you explain something to somebody? Why would you try to convince someone that what you're doing is great? It is about the same thing we talked about just now. It's about being right. And if you do this, it can also make you question your strategy and what you are doing. When you try to explain everything to somebody and see that they are not understanding, it can make you question your great strategy, making you not believe in your strategy, making you make bad choices, and finally maybe making you give up on a great strategy that's actually making you money at the end. So it's emotionally draining at the end. And why would you waste time explaining to somebody anything instead of learning more or doing more? Now let's go to the third type of people. Those are the negative ones. These people will not believe you no matter what you say and what you show. They will just shit on anything you have to say and just demotivate you, making you question literally everything you do. Anything you do, and no matter what results you have, those people can make you thinking about losing it all. And that's the issue also, since it is messing with your emotions, with your goals, with your results, and overall testing. Also, these people will usually start the conversation with, okay, show me the real money. I think you get the point by now. There are multiple problems with you talking about what you do and how you do it. But remember this. All of these types of people will be your best friend no matter what when you get that money. Everyone is going to rise you to the stars and tell you the best things when they see you in your new car, new house, when they see the cash flowing in. And you have to be real about it. It's because they want a piece of the pie, nothing else. Only few people will be genuinely happy you made it. Remember that. Now let's talk about talking when you start making money. Do not do it. There can be multiple problems if you start doing it. First and foremost, everyone will hop on your back trying to leech off you. Also, everybody's gonna start asking you to trade with their money, throwing money at you. Isn't that a surprise? Everyone wants 10-20% of return on investment, but nobody wants to work, right? Wait, if it's that simple, shouldn't we all just get a loan, research and find great traders, just put the money in their pocket, and from then on out, do nothing and just get the money, right? That sounds like a free money glitch. Well, that's wrong. On top of you stressing out, working, researching, trading, making the big buck, then what's next? Redrawing the money? Then government knocks on your doors, asking for taxes, then they get their cut, people that invested got their cut, and what did you make at the end? And that's only when we're talking about great runs. What is going to happen if there is a bad week, a bad month, or you just start losing money? You get the idea, right? I hope you do. Also, if you talk a lot about you making money, showing off, it can attract different problems, like crooks and people wanting to steal from you as well. When you start making the real money, safety is also a great concern. Anyway, keep your mouth shut. Now let's go to the second point. Do not scam your family, friends, or anybody. What I mean by that is actually what we were already talking about. It means that people will come to you and give you money when they see results and wanting to give you money, but you have to realize that's how scams are being made. Now I'm gonna talk about scams and pyramid schemes so that you avoid it. And please, I'm just gonna give you an example. Do not do it, because it's really easy to do, and that's how people are making tons of money on the market scamming people. So the biggest pyramid schemes are actually made through trading. What I mean by that, market can go two ways, up or down. And when you think about it, that's how it's easy to scam people. First, let's go to the family and friends. When you start earning money, when they know what's happening behind the scenes, when they see results and stuff like that, everybody's gonna throw money at you. That's the issue there. Because if you realize you can just make a scheme out of it, meaning there is a friend giving you 10k to invest in it, then the other one is gonna give you 20k and give 10% to the first guy and he earn 10%, right? And nobody's gonna pull out, nobody's gonna take the money out. The biggest scam of all time is in trading. Watch some movies. realize you can watch movies and see what's happening behind the scenes, and that's how the biggest scams are made, pyramid schemes and stuff like that. There's gonna be a third guy that's gonna give you 50k, you take a small amount out of the 50, give it to the first and second guy, they're gonna reinvest in you, and that's how the wheel is spinning, you know, and it can go really widely from there. Now let's go to the biggest scam of it all, and I heard people doing it as well. First and foremost, you have to be outside of your country, then you get to know people, just explain to them that you're a trader, show them some proof that you're making lots of money and stuff like that. They're gonna trust you eventually. It's even better if you already have a good car, fancy watch, dress nicely. So this is how it works. You find 10 people and say to them, oh, okay, I have some information where the market is going to go. I have something like insider trading or stuff like that, information on it. Then what you do, you take those 10 people and say, okay, this is a must. You have to invest in it and you will get lots of money. But in order for them to get the information, they have to pay you, let's say 1k, let's say $1,000. Okay, it's not that much, and after that they can invest how much they want into the actual trade. Right now, you take 5 people and say the market is gonna go up, and take the other 5 and say the market is gonna go down. You get the idea now, right? So what will happen at the end? 5 people are gonna know that you're a master of the universe and know all the information and gonna have the biggest trust in you. The other 5 that lost money, you can just say, oh, I'm sorry, something happened, and let's say one of those 5 people is gonna believe it and stick to the next trade. Or you can just say to them, okay, I'm sorry, you're gonna get the next one for free. That's also a deal. So the next thing is you wait for a while and then contact the 5 people that really earned some money with you and say, okay, now I have another one. And you take those 5 people and say, but this time you have to find 10 more people that are willing to invest. Because I want it to be worthwhile, you know, for leaking, it's really dangerous for me to leak the information. Then what will happen? You will have 50 people in total. You will have 50 people in total, because 5 times 10 is 50. All of them giving you $2,000, because now it's not $1,000, it's $2,000. And you're taking 25 people telling them it's gonna go up and 25 people telling them it's gonna go down, right? You get the idea now. And after everything is closed, there is third or fourth even circle where you can say, okay, now find 10 people and I want $10,000. The idea here is really simple. By the fourth circle, you will have 1,000 people, maybe even more, that are blindly trusting you, blindly believing you, and they're gonna risk it all. So basically, you're gonna have 1,000 people giving you $10,000 and you're gonna take 500 people say it's gonna go up and 500 people say it's gonna go down, and that's it. And then you disappear. And you have people that have done it. So that's why I'm telling you, this is really something you shouldn't do ever in your life. And it's easy to be scammed on these kind of platforms and trading overall. You don't even have to know trading to scam people out of millions and millions of dollars. So please do not do it. But also, you need to know that it exists in order to avoid it. That's same with the groups that have signals and stuff like that. It's the same story, again and again. Now let's go to the next point. Learn what you're up against. Numerous times I've spoken to people that are trading, that started trading, that are trading for a while, and they don't know the basics. I even had an encounter with a guy that couldn't explain to me perfectly what are candles and how everything he visually sees works. That's something crazy, to be honest. You're literally putting in money and saying, okay, take it away from me, I don't care, you know, I don't know how it works, I just think I'm gonna earn money. And if you didn't know, 95% of traders lose money. I don't know if you realize how much money is being traded on a daily basis on Forex only. It is $7.5 trillion. Yes, that's a $3 trillion. Now, for you to understand the difference between a million, billion, and a trillion, 1 million seconds is approximately 11.5 days. 1 billion seconds is approximately 31.7 years. 1 trillion seconds is 31,709 years.
You just got $1 trillion. Not a million, not a billion, a trillion. But there's a catch. You need to spend all of it in the next 24 hours. This should be easy. First, you need a new car. Buy yourself a Lambo and a Ferrari and a McLaren. You know what? Just buy up the entire dealership. Now you have the $12 million garage of your dreams. But there's one small problem. In order to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours, you would need to buy out that entire dealership every single second. You need to think bigger.
And now when you know that part, explain to me, what do you think? Who is putting in or getting out the money that makes huge moves on the market? What do you think? Like $3-5 million in a trade is gonna change the market really crazy? Let's talk it in days. $1 million is 11.5 days, right? 1 trillion is 31,000 years. So what do you think? Somebody invests $1 million and it's gonna change the market crazy, right? No, of course not. What do you think your $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 on a trade is gonna do? It's gonna do literally nothing. So my question is, do you know who you're fighting against? Do you know who has $1 billion to invest in a trade, for example? Yes, that's right, the banks. Who you are fighting against? And if you're fighting at all, why should you be fighting? Or should you just follow what they are doing? Now, do you know that there are people that don't know what the number they're seeing on the screen actually is? Now, when we take euro against US dollar, they don't know what the number actually is. Do you know what that number actually is? That's a great question. And if you don't know what that number that you're seeing on your screen is, how are you trading? Why are you trading at all? There is tons of people that do trading and go into trading, and they don't know what pip is. They don't understand why some people are using ATR. If you don't know what ATR is as an indicator, you should look it up and realize why that is. And we are talking just basics here. Again, just basics. Now, before we go into indicators, trading strategies and so on, there are places you can learn a lot of stuff. One of those is No Nonsense Forex. You can find it on YouTube, and please go into the videos and sort them out from oldest to newest. He deleted a lot of videos, but it is a gold mine. I think he's called the VP. He's great, he's awesome. But you need to know what you're up against, how you're gonna sort out your psychology, why everything is important, how to approach the entire trading, what to look out for, and so on. Learn what you're up against. We already talked about the banks, how much money is being traded daily. Also, I realized there is a lot to cover, so I'm gonna try and be faster and talk faster so we can cover everything as fast as possible. Now let's talk about indicators. You literally have tons and tons of indicators to choose from, but which one is the one you should use? Is there a magic indicator that is always right and giving you wins all the time? What do you honestly think? As you can see on the screen, I'm using multiple moving averages, RSI and ATR. But am I actually using those? Am I making decisions based on the indicators alone? Well, it's a yes and a no at the same time. Both are true depending on the situation. The issue with indicators is really simple. If there is a magic indicator that works all the time, everyone would be making money. Whatever indicator you use, you have to realize that everyone can use the same indicator and do the exact same thing as you are doing. That's why you can see reversals when there is a huge market change in a short period of time. That's because majority wants in when the market has a huge jump or dump, and also they think they can scalp and pocket the money easily. Funny thing is, there are no indicators but human psychology, and realizing if there are a lot of people on an uptrend and then the market spikes, they will get out and take the cash. Same thing happens vice versa. Time frame is also something you should always have in mind when looking at any indicator. You can literally have the market going bullish on a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minutes candle, but going bearish on an hourly or a daily candle. So is the market bullish or bearish here? So is the indicator really working, or is it working only on your time frame? Is it working at all? Whatever indicator you're using, do you really test it on a long run, and what results did you have with it? How many times was the indicator right? So even if some indicator is doing its job, always have the time frame in your mind, as well as the human psychology. There are bots doing trading as well, so you have to think about that one as well. Your strat has to be connected to the time frame and what you actually want to achieve in that time frame. To be clear, I am using some indicators, but just as a confirmation or just as a visual help, nothing else. I'm just using it as a helping hand. When I say that, I'm talking about binary options. There are ways to combine multiple indicators and have a high success rate. But be careful with it, please. Indicators are nothing else but a bunch of numbers that are being calculated in order to show you visually the exact same calculation they made. And guess what? It can't show you the future. Indicators always show what has already happened. Every indicator shows some kind of visual result only when the candle is closed. So that already happened. So you're already looking at the past. Again, that doesn't mean that the market behavior isn't repeating itself. So that means you can have a huge success when it comes to indicators, but it is usually when you do forex trading, less with binary. But I will also say one thing: use ATR. That's how you can manage risk to reward. You can realize how much market is actually moving and how to do the actual risk management. Use it to summarize it. You have to do a lot of backtesting in order to find the sweet spot with indicators only. And then you will realize that when you combine some of the indicators, you will get great results in trading forex. But always have risk management in place. When we talk indicators and binary options, it can be a helping hand, nothing else, since you're dealing with the small time frames. Now let's go to the news research. This is both for forex and binary. It only depends when you're going out to the market. Market news can really go your way and make you money, but you can also lose a lot of money. A friend of mine made millions trading only on Trump's tweets. That happened the last time he was president. He was literally waiting for him to tweet and then went into the trade. Always just logically following what will happen depending on what crazy next thing he tweeted. He made a bunch of money. But again, he had great risk management skills, since there were a bunch of losing trades as well, leading to the one of the most important things there is: risk management. You have to know what you're doing with your money and how much you're willing to risk compared to the actual probability that the market will go in your favor. You have to realize you can lose a trade and not be right. Never risk it all on one trade or be persistent in chasing being right. You have to realize that you are playing the long game. With binary options, then forex, it is always playing on a long game. You're not here to make billions in a day. Never risk too much. It happened to me. After accumulating enough money on binary options, I switched to trading forex, since it's less stressful and it doesn't make you stuck to the screen the entire day waiting for the perfect entry. Anyway, I did my research. There was a great deal that was happening between Australia and Canada. And of course, I was waiting for the news and immediately put a lot of money on the trade when the news got out, of course, thinking I'm ahead of the game and I'm going to make big bucks now. Really big bucks. That was all happening in my mind. Well, the market kept going the other way. I've lost some money. I've doubled down and I was persistent. It has to go the other way, of course. Then I lost that trade again. Guess what I did? I doubled down again. Lost it all, and the market kept going downwards. I lost half of my account. Only 2 days later, I found another news that happened at the same time, but it was under the radar. There have been some events and proposals related to the coal mining and exports from Australia to Canada. And that news was much more influential to the market than the news I've got. And again, you have to realize that you have people behind all of this. Markets, country deals, everything. You have people making deals, making regulations, making new laws, and everything is connected to the markets. And when the news is actually brought to people, there are people who already know that news is going to come. And those people are already in the trade, making millions. That's called insider trading, by the way, and it is happening daily. If you don't trust me, just check the public trading accounts of the people in Congress. Literally public information. Now let's talk about people drawing lines on charts. When you see somebody drawing lines on a chart, realize that is actually just a bunch of bullshit. You can draw whatever you want there. It is usually just a perspective of a person looking at the chart. That person can draw it one way, I can draw it another way. You can see people drawing over the highs, over the lows, making triangles, making I don't know what. Who do you think you are to decide where the market is going to go? When I hear people saying something like market is retesting or hitting resistance, I want to literally puke. You can easily go and do real backtesting with resistance and retesting, and then tell me how many times the market didn't go the way it should go. We already discussed this. Just remember who is actually moving the market. You have traders with huge budgets, you have bot trading, you have people doing news trading, people doing technical analysis trading, and then you draw something over it, over the chart, and say, okay, it's gonna go this way. It's really funny. Also, I'm not saying it's completely wrong.
Yes, he's got them all written down. Some people have them on these bloody mats that you can buy. You can buy trading mats with every pattern there just to confuse you even further. Look, there's nothing wrong with using trade patterns specifically for entries. I have certain patterns on certain strategies that I will use. The problem most traders have is they're trying to capture 1,000,001 different patterns because their mindset is about doing more. If I've got more patterns, I've got more opportunities to get into the market, but all you're doing is just chasing your tail because you're not focused in. So again, nothing wrong with using a chart pattern or a couple of patterns, but they've got to be part of an overall structure and plan, and you've got to understand them and recognize the pattern when it happens, not have 60 of them like you can see there.
It isn't wrong since you can see with your own eyes that things are happening over and over again. You can see that some things keep happening no matter what, and the market is literally just repeating the movement. But in order for you to understand what is happening on the market and why is it moving the way it's moving, and what are the chances for the market to move in a certain way, you have to sit down and trade. Watch the market for extended period of time in order to see and recognize the market move and why the move is happening and what are the chances for the next move. Now I'm thinking really hard to talk about using a single candle as an indicator. People be telling and showing different kinds of candles and just saying this is a key indicator that the market will go a certain way. Usually they never mention the time frame, never actually showing the movement of the candle before closing, before the candle closes. And that one is really important as well. Let me explain. So, let me try and explain it really simple. This is a 5-minute candle, and this is the entry point. That is the value of the candle in that period of time. This is the closing point of the candle. That's the value when the candle has been closed. This here is the highest value the candle has been during those 5 minutes. And this here is the lowest value. So tell me, what do you think? Is it important how the candle was made during that time? So for example, the candle during the period of 5 minutes, this is the 5 minutes here, could do this. It opened on the green dot and it's closing on the red dot. Do you think there's a difference if the candle from the opening did this and closed here, or maybe the candle did this and closed here? So the big move happened like maybe 30 seconds before closing. Or maybe the candle was made like this. So everything I drew here, imagine that the purple line I'm drawing are the values that are happening. Do you realize that there's a difference? When you visually look at the candle itself, you will see the price changing faster at the opening, faster at the closing, maybe slower at the closing or slower at the opening, or maybe it's just consolidating until the end, or consolidating after the huge move. We don't know what's happening in the candle at the time that the candle is made. That's why you need to look at different charts, different time spans. And just to be clear, I was talking about people saying that there should be an entry point at the moment when the candle is closing, just taking one candle as an entry point in Forex. There are great ways to use one candle, but not as an entry point.
Why this candle? What is so valuable about this candle? Well, this candle, which is the first 30 minutes of the day, has the highest amount of volume and highest amount of traders entering the market of the entire day. And there are two key levels that we're going to mark out on this candle, which very simple is just the top of the candle or the candle's high and the bottom of the candle or the candle's low. These levels are where the most amount of selling happened right here and the most amount of buying happened down here. Well, guess what happens if the market goes to one of these areas? Well, everybody on that side of the market is now wrong, and most of them are going to be stopped out of their positions. So what's going to happen if the market moves under one of these levels is that there's going to be a lot of liquidity. Now, all this means is that anyone who bought in this candle, most of them are going to have their stop losses right here. And if we've identified that most retail traders are going to be trading in this first 30 minutes, then right here is where they're going to get stopped out of the market. Let's just say you have 1,000 contracts you want to buy, and there's only, 100 in this range. There's not that many for sale. What are you going to do? You're going to push price to where all of the masses are fearful and they get stopped out of their trades. That way you can buy the market from them, and then you can make the market move up. This is when big traders can get involved. Now, you and I have the luxury of being able to buy or to sell wherever we want. But these guys, the big traders, they have to buy where there is liquidity.
Now let's go to the part number 4. Emotions are a fucked up thing. This part is going to be really short because we are literally talking about mental status and emotions as we go. I already mentioned this, and it is really important. Trading will test your mentality to the max. You have to be patient, disciplined, always reminding yourself on your goal. Remind yourself you are not always right. The key is perfect balance between doubting your calculation and being convinced that you are the best trader there is. So at the same time, you have to doubt and be really convinced that you are the best trader there is. You accomplish that with back testing strategies until you find what is working and what is comfortable for you, both at the same time. So both comfortable and working at the same time. Now let's go to the part 5. How we lose money and how we make money. Now I started realizing I don't understand people running YouTube channels, since this is really draining for me. Majority of it is the same. It leads to repeating the same stuff. There is always a little bit more to it, but when you tell it all, how do you repeat yourself constantly? You already know that 95% of traders lose their money, and that is not a coincidence. It is happening due to our nature. We are greedy as humans. We want it all and we want it fast. To be honest, who doesn't want that? I do. I know I wanted to be rich really fast yesterday if it's possible. But for example, even though I'm not a big fan of Warren Buffett, he did say something really factual and true. No one wants to get rich slow, and there's the catch. Market is always rising. If you look at the market from the start to this day, you will see the constant rise. Even after the big bubbles like one in 2008, inflation is the key, and you have to realize you are never late for investments. Maybe you will wait a bit longer if you invest invested at the top at that time, but on a long run you will profit. Number one way of losing money is listening to a bunch of random people on YouTube trying to sell you their course. And in those courses are the same things you can learn on YouTube. So it's basically the same thing you can already learn. You just have to ask yourself, if someone is such a good trader and it's profitable all the time, why would they throw affiliate links at you, trying to profit from putting you on some trading platform and get a commission out of it? I have no affiliate links, no websites with a bunch of payment options or something like that. I'm just literally guaranteeing you will earn money if you listen and do everything as I say here, while not making the same mistakes I did before. There are only few traders that will show you their losses, and even if they do show you, you will see that those losses are usually really small compared to overall rise in the account balance. It is really easy to find the information that professional traders make 15 to 30% of their account yearly. Let me say that again, yearly. And when we talk about few huge traders that trade with accounts with billions of dollars on them, it is 3 to 5% yearly, but it is consistently. When you have investment funds averaging 9% returns yearly, people literally throw money at them. You will watch one of the documentaries, trust me. I'm a bit different when we talk about returns. I'm having more return than we just talked about, since my risk management is a bit different. Also, professional traders usually do not trade with their own money, but for an investment fund, so their risk management is tight. And it's for a reason. And in many cases, investment funds give them money management rules, since we're talking about huge sums of money here. As I said, I'm a bit different. Let's imagine 100 trades on Forex. And for the sake of making math easy, I have $100. And let's say I'm profitable if I get 51 trades successful and lose 49 trades. And let's say I have a system that I'm certain has at least 51% success rate. But I'm certain of it. And now the worst thing happens. I get 49 losses in a row. How much do you think my investment is? It is not $1 or 1% to cover 100 trades. It's $2. That's because I'm certain in my strategy that has at least 51% success rate on 100 trades. And I back tested it to at least 10,000 trades. To explain simple, I will lose 98. After that, I will regain everything I lost and then earn some. Now let's add 2 to 1 risk to reward ratio. And that's when we're talking about a totally different game now. That means I'm risking $1 to earn $2. I would lose 49 trades and lose $98, and then regain that $98 and earn $106 on top of that with 51 winning trades. Meaning my balance would be $204, more than doubling it. Now that is if I'm right only 50% of the time. 2 to 1 ratio is something I'm doing when I really wanna trade safely. Actually, I didn't trade 2 to 1, I was trading 2.1 to 1. And I did it for a really long time, until I ended up in a position of trading for fun, not earning, surviving, having to earn or something like that. So it's basically just trading for fun. I am still to this day trading both Forex and binary options, even today, but only when I feel like it, and I don't do it with a discipline of trading and chasing the market daily. It is more of having fun and proving my knowledge to myself. Nowadays I trade Forex chasing huge moves, I'm talking at least 15x or more, and my success rate is over 15%. And I'm also implementing martingale strategy to some extent. And martingale strategy is something you should never do, since it can lead you to losing literally all your money. I'm doing it since I can risk more. So now I don't look at money as money, but just numbers, and that is making my head clear and only focusing on the market, but also higher the risk, higher the reward. I'm using martingale on binary options as well, also just to some extent, and it is making huge returns, huge, considering the account balance. Here is how martingale works and why you should not use it.
This martingale system. This betting strategy works for several casino games. It's especially used though for roulette and baccarat. Very simply, set a money goal and follow these 2 rules. If you lose, double your bet. And if you win, go back to your original bet. So here's an example of martingale. If your initial bet is $2 and you lose in the first round, you have to double your next bet to $4. If you continue losing though, you have to keep doubling your bet. However, when you win, you get to start your bet again at the original sum, $2.
Well, now comes that million-dollar question. Does the martingale system actually work? In theory, a roulette player could be able to make a small profit by deploying this strategy, although there are some obvious pitfalls which do need to be taken into account. Firstly, what happens if you have a long one of losing bets? You might lose with your first 6 bets starting with £1, which would mean you would actually lose 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 16 plus 32, which is a total of £63. If you're £63 down from 6 casino bets, will your bankroll allow you to bet a further 64 in order to secure that tiny profit? And that's the second negative. You could end up staking large amounts of money simply to secure just that small return each and every time.
Here is the explanation of martingale strat on binary options. And here are all the issues that you're going to encounter. So as you see, this is an investment, this is totally invested, and this is what you won. If you invest $1, you invested $1. And you won $1, and this is only in case that you have 100% return, and that's never the case in binary options. It's usually anywhere from 80 to 90%, so usually it's 85%, sometimes it's 70, sometimes it's 90, but almost never it's, let's say, the average is 85%. But for this particular moment, let's say it's 100%. And let's say you have 10 losing trades in a row. So after 10 losing trades in a row, you have already invested $1,000 to win only $1. What will happen if you have 20 losing trades? So let's say 19 losing trades and you have to invest in the 20th in order to get everything back and simply be in a plus. You have by that moment totally invested over $1 million just to get $1 profit. Let's go back to binary options and say there is 95% return, like 95%, you will rarely see it on binary options. Here you go, 95. Now numbers have changed. You invested $1, totally invested 1, but on the trade you're winning 0.95. And on the next trade you have to win $2 in order to get the one you already lost and win one. That's how this is calculated. Now check what is happening. Let's say 10th investment. It jumped from $512 to $633, and total investment is $1,292 from $1,023. And what is happening on the, let's say, 19th loss and 20th investment? You don't have to invest $500,000. Now you have to invest almost $900,000 to get back $1. Let's try 85%, that's an average, 85%. Then we went from $900,000 to $2.8 million and totally invested $5.2 million. In order for martingale to work on binary options, let's say you need $6 million just in order to make $1. I mean, that's in case you are losing 19 trades in a row. But we already talked about 100 trades and how you need to test everything out. You see the issue here. Now let's go to the fun part, the money making part. Now listen to this carefully. You have to understand your goals. Let me tell you this. If you make money fast, you will lose money fast. If you're earning a lot, you are risking a lot. You can't make millions overnight or in one day with small investments. It is possible, but that is luck and it's rare. But let me ask you this. If you can double your money every month, every 3 months, every year, but guaranteed, why wouldn't you do it? Same like martingale, but in your favor, so doubling the money. Let's talk about binary options in this case, since it is more fast-paced. And don't forget, I started with binary options. I only had 500 euros and then I reached millions with the help of binary options. Again, due to the easy math, let's say you have $100. Your goal is to make $3 a day. It is up to you. Will you trade $1 at 85% return as an example? And in that case, you need 4 successful trades in a row without a loss, and you're done for the day. Or you're sure in your trades and you will invest $4 in one trade and be done for the day. Let's say that works. After 2 weeks, you will get $30. After a month, you will get $60. And after only 2 months, you will have $220 on your account balance. So that is literally doubling your money in 2 months. Of course, it is not plain and simple as I explained it here, but at the same time it is. There will be long days since you didn't win the first trades. There will be short days where everything went your way. There will be losing days, meaning you will need to have days where you earn double or choose to go safe and just do a daily goal again. But also, if you're looking what is on the screen while I'm recording this, you will realize there is not a lot of trading going on. And at the same time, on any other YouTube training gurus trading binary options, you can see a bunch of trades really fast, in minutes, in 10 minutes, in 20 minutes. I don't know how many trades within half an hour. We are talking about patience here. There will be good and better days if you stick to your strategy. If not, it will be bad and worse. Don't get excited when you start getting winning trades. I literally can't tell you how many times I fucked up just because I was being excited. I finished the trading goals in a matter of 30 minutes and I was just bored and wanted to trade more. I was feeling excited, I was thinking this is the day I can't lose. I'm the best trader there is. And then ended up losing what I made. Then spending 5 more hours just trying to get a plus day. My strategy is working and I know it's working. It has been proven that it's working 100%. But firstly, we are talking on a long run. Secondly, when you lose money and emotions come in, you start stressing and realizing you have lost what you already had. Emotions come in and then you're no longer actually using your strategy. Not being strict with your strategy and goals, all of that can have a downhill from there. Point of all of this is having your goals straight, being consistent and just being patient, since you will see huge results, even if you think those are not huge results at the moment. But when you really do the math, it's a lot. No one is going to give you 100% return on investment in a matter of 2, 3, 6 months. We talked about it. People are going crazy over 9% yearly. You should be lucky if a bank is giving you 1% yearly. Think about it. But also we are talking about only $100. Now imagine what will happen if you start with $100,000 and have 30% return in 2 months instead of more than 100% return in 2 months, as we talked about in this example. If you had 30% return in 2 months, that is 180% return yearly. That is having your account balance from $100,000 to $280,000 in 1 year. But please, hold your horses. You will never do that with binary options. Even if you do, you will not be able to get that amount of money out of those platforms at once. Or even if you can, it's not gonna be easy to pull out that kind of money. Not at the beginning at least. The hardest part is reaching your first million. After that, it is like you have a wind in your back. You're making money by being consistent, never going off rails, never changing your strategy, even when you're emotional. Sometimes it's better just to stop and admit that you're not ready. So if you start losing, just analyze yourself and see if you're ready at the moment to continue trading or you're just trying to be right. That's really important, of course. Let's go to the next point. Stay under the radar. I'll try to keep it shorter for topics that are not affecting your trading too much from now on. This part can affect it, but it doesn't have to. But it is really important as everything else I talked about. You realize that by now. I'm not talking about unimportant things. When you start being successful in trading or whatever field, it is really important to keep your privacy, except if you're an influencer or a celebrity or something like that. And your privacy is really important for many reasons. One of the reasons is attention. If you start making money and start tracking attention, you will regret it. It is same as talking a lot. When you start making money and start posting it on social media or other platforms, you will literally attract few things: leechers, criminals, unsuccessful traders trying to catch the flow, old friends that would never contact you if they didn't see how they can earn money from you. And all of them were nowhere to be found when you needed them. Now let's mention catching eyes of the government as well. There are taxes, inspections, and much more. If you become top 2% of traders, it is even more important to stay stay under the radar, since you can literally influence the market in one way or another. I'm talking about if you have billions on your account. If you think about it, there are a bunch of traders out there that you don't know of. We are only being pushed towards popular few. But if you do the real research, you will see that it's really hard to find any names of the real big traders out there. It's the same thing when we talk about the richest people in the world. You know just a few, but did you know that people in the Middle East don't disclose how much money they have, and they have license plates that cost 100 million? I don't know. I'm traveling all the time now, and at this moment I'm in Greece recording this. If you start looking around when you travel, you will realize there are huge mansions around you, and almost nobody has a clue who the owner is. That's the point. Avoid the spotlight. It is worth your peace. It took me 5 years to clear up what I messed up since I started showing everything on social media. Stay under the radar. At least, if nothing else, when you start making money, make a new profile. Don't show any names, don't show your face, and share only if it's important to you. Now the next point. Trading platforms. I'm not going to talk about forex brokers, but binary options brokers. This is also really important when you start trading. It is okay to test different platforms when you invest small amounts, but at the end, it is really important to feel comfortable when you trade. I tried most of them, of course: Nadex, Kaishi, Pocket Option, Quotex, IQ Options, and so on. I stuck with IQ Options just because it's pleasing for the eyes, nothing else. And it is simple, I just like it. But you have to be careful with choosing your trading platform. It also depends on where you are located in the world. Some platforms are not regulated in the US, and you will see some limitations there. That shouldn't ever stop you. You have VPNs, you have ways to do it. Just don't give up. Also, people are behind those businesses, and you should always realize you can contact them and explain what you need, what you want, and how you want it. I'm a VIP user on IQ Options now for years, but that is not the way it started. When you lose money, everything will be easy. You will have no issues with the platforms and nobody cares. They are just taking your money and they don't care. Everyone will take your money and never ask any questions. But when you start making money, some platforms are going to limit your account, block your account, and much more. Why do they do it? Well, that's because majority loses money. And you have to realize that when you start making money, it doesn't make any sense to the broker. To avoid this, you have to think about how to prevent it. And it is really easy. Contact the broker and explain everything first. What do you do? How your strategy is 100% profitable? How much money you plan to invest and how much money you plan on pulling out of the platform? And how often? Of course, never reveal the details about your strategy. Open the account and start working on a practice account before contacting support. They have a track record of your trades even if it is a practice account, meaning they will check it and know what is happening. And that's how you can also avoid problems. Don't invest large when you start on any platform. These brokers are not fair as you might think. Of course, that is until you become a VIP user. You will see platforms don't work the same when you're in the practice account and the real one. You will get latency issues, meaning when you click to enter the trade, entry is going to be late a half a second or sometimes even a second. Sometimes you will see things are happening differently from when you are on a practice account. Price spiking and making you lose the trade just a second before closing and stuff like that. You will 100% see this stuff happening until you become their prime user, after making them see your results. That's why you also have to make your strategy strict at the beginning, like really strict. So when your strategy hits the moment for you to go in, be even stricter. Is that a word? I don't know. So if your strategy is hitting 100%, go 130% to be sure, to be like 200% sure. I'll explain that one into detail when we get to that point. Do your research before choosing the platform. So this is about making money. That means you should take your time and choose the platform that is most comfortable for you. Let's go to the next part. Do not trust people. Yes, you heard it right. Do not trust people. This is going to sound strange since I'm the guy on the internet saying you shouldn't trust people on the internet. Yes, I already mentioned this, but I have to make the entire point here. Before you trust a bunch of gurus on the internet showing you how it's easy to make money, lying every step of the way, please ask yourself why are they doing it? Almost every single one of them will have affiliate links in descriptions, trying to make you join some platform, trying to make you buy their course or something similar, just making money off you. If they are so successful, why would they push their product down your throat, having great websites, having a bunch of payment options put in place on those websites? Then, when they get that money, they have the issue of paying the tax on it, transaction fees, IRS, and having a bunch of other issues with that same money you gave to them. Why would someone go over all the trouble if they are successful in trading and just helping you out? It sounds really funny when you put it like that. And now, since we're talking about this, you will most certainly ask yourself, why am I doing this? Right? I'm here on the internet doing this same way they're doing. But I'm a bit different. One of my great friends, he was an editor before, now he just trades from time to time, so him and my new girlfriend made me do this. And I am doing this because their idea is great. As you can see, and please check it right now, there are no affiliate links in my description. There are no websites, nothing. My goal for you is to watch the video to the end and for me to really help you make money. If we now analyze everything I said, it was really helpful, but I never said that you should specifically follow one strategy or the other. And I will show you how to make a strategy. And why am I doing all of this? It's because if you make money, I will make even more money as well. And that's why I'm doing this. I'll explain it in more detail later. Now let's go back to trusting people. You also shouldn't believe people in real life as well. There are a bunch of snakes that will try to get your money invested in scams and just leech off you. I'm not saying you shouldn't invest. Some of them are real, but always be 10 steps ahead. Always do your research, calculate your potential gains and risks. Let's talk about the internet now. And there is a bunch of places where you should trust people. When I say people, I'm talking about documentaries, movies, where you can learn what the actual human nature is. There is a goldmine in documentaries and movies where you can learn how many people are just scammers, how they easily scammed a lot of people, how market works, who actually moves the market, why it is important to know what is happening in the world. Now, just as an example, when Donald Trump became president, one of the first things he did is made a tax cut. And Wells Fargo made the most out of it. Now, if you watched one particular documentary about Donald Trump a few years back before he became president, you would understand that when you owe somebody huge amounts of money, it isn't worth killing the person, but investing a small amount to get a bunch of money out of that person. Just imagine you owing me $10 billion. You have no way of paying me back. What can I do? If I kill you, I get nothing, right? But if I invest $5 billion in you, putting you on a strong position where I can get information and laws I need, I can make 20 billions out of it. This is just as an example. Educate yourself and know what is out there, but also do not believe everything you see because it can be just a spin for somebody else to get something out of it. Be smart and question everything and watch for the proof that can benefit you when things unfold. That's the way to be in front of what is actually happening. I will leave the names of some movies and documentaries that are a must watch in the description. Also, editor told me that it's great if you comment, follow, like the video, so also do that if you want. Realize that you can analyze a lot of the shows and movies to get the psychology behind it. When you understand it, you will also understand better how the market moves and why. Study psychopaths, understand their nature and why are they as they are. Books like 48 Laws of Power are a must-read, self-help books as well. It is all about understanding yourself and the world around you and having the upper hand. You can check the description, I've left names of the movies and documentaries that are a must-watch. Now let's go to the next point. Taxes are a shit show. Taxes are literally a shit show. And let me be clear on this. Taxes are made for poor and the middle class. Do not try to avoid them until you have enough finances. When I say avoid, I'm talking about having enough money in order to pay less taxes. When you really dive into the government finances, you will realize that it is all for financing something that should work and function on their own. But okay. But I understand that we have to put something in to get something out. If you open a business in Europe, in some countries, you can pay up to 60% taxes on profit you made, on what you already made. Let me be clear, your customers pay taxes on their paycheck, then come to spend money in your business and pay taxes on that. And then you pay taxes on your profit at the end of the year. So basically they already paid taxes on what they earned and then you pay taxes on what you earned. Sounds funny, but that is how it works. In some countries, taxes work fine. You have great roads, you have great social help, helping people that are unemployed, streets are clean, public transport functions well, things are in order. But who is all of that for? All of that is literally for the poor and the middle class. Now just imagine you invest 1 million, then you double that million, and then the taxes come in and the government takes 60% on your profit. You risk your own money, you work hard to make more, and then the government comes in and takes more than half because you earned money. Let me ask you this, what would happen if you lost all your money? Would the government give you 60% of your losses back? Like the government says, oh, you risk your money to help the government by giving us 60% of the profit. So here we are giving you 60% back of what you lost to help you back. Of course not. Government doesn't care. Nobody cares what you lost. When we think about it, that sounds so convenient for the government. I don't take any risks, but just take the profit if you earn some money, right? That just sounds like a scam, doesn't it? It is not a scam, and of course there should be more taxes in place to make a functioning country. But at the end, it is totally different when you have a person that is a working class getting a chunk of their money to the government, public transport and everything works, everybody's happy, and they barely feel a dent in their wallet. That is because they're just going with the flow. But when you start making the real money, you will realize government can literally take amounts of few apartment values from you yearly. To explain it simple, instead of you buying few apartments, that amount goes to taxes. And let's not mention that in many cases, no one explains how taxes work, how much you should actually pay. Everything is hidden in government websites, explaining in strict professional financial language. So when you get into it, it's gonna be a shit show. Now let's go to the part 10. Should you avoid taxes and how? This one is a bit tricky. It all depends who you actually are. If you think you can save the world with few millions, billions, then okay, I understand you. Pay your taxes. Even better, research for a country that has the highest taxes and just move there. Give them all the taxes. That is totally okay with me. But now joking aside, if you want to help your country, just pay taxes in your country, but also by doing that as an individual or a small company and you have big money coming in, you will attract more attention than you like. Remember, everyone wants the piece of the pie, even when that pie is yours. When you start paying high taxes, then you will see people just popping into your life, and all of them connected to the government in one way or another. The same thing we already talked about. It is staying under the radar and being careful not to attract a bunch of attention. By paying huge taxes, you're literally attracting attention. Of course, we are talking about big sums here. Let me be clear. No one is going to touch you until you get in the big game, over $1 million or something like that. There are two ways you can go with it. Be a snake and get involved in the government itself. That one can go bad in many ways. You can end up just working for the government and basically just be another worker. And on the other hand, all of us just want freedom, financial freedom and freedom of time. Right? We want to have enough money not to think about the future and also have free time. I'm not judging. If you want to work for someone, just go ahead and do it. There are many ways you can work your way through life. Now, if you want to avoid taxes, there are a few ways you can do it, and it all depends on the country you're in. I'll try to be really short here since it is a long topic. So initially, there are a few options, but it all leads to one. and that one is actually opening a company. Since with a company, you can work your way around it. Let me explain it simple. You pay taxes on everything, literally everything. But when you open a company, you have options. It is better to take out a loan and pay the loan instead of taxes. Loans are not taxable. Let me explain it simply. Let's say you profit 1 million in a year. This works for any amounts, but for the math's sake, we are rounding it up to 1 million. So you earn 1 million, and taxes go anywhere from 15 to 60% on earnings alone. It all depends on the country you're in. What happens when you take a loan? Your company owns the money, not you, your company. All profits go to paying off the loan. Let's say the loan has an interest of 5% a year, and it can be even lower depending on the amount. The higher amount you get from the bank, the bigger love you will get from the bank, and you can negotiate everything. But for this example, let's just say it is 5%. And what you do is use the loan and buy everything you need and transfer all expenses as company expenses, and all of your profits just go into paying off the debt, the loan. You can read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad to understand what is happening there as well. Even though I don't like the guy that wrote the book, I am considering him a fake, but he has some good points. Basically, you're better off paying 5% interest than paying 15-60% of taxes. Let's say you earn $1 million. That's the difference between paying $50,000 a year to your bank, to your loan, and paying up to $600,000 in taxes. And that is more than $500,000 a year if you're just giving it up on taxes. Second thing you can do is to find a country with low taxes. It is not a huge secret why people go to Dubai and open companies there. Also, when you reach the amounts that will make you want to go to Dubai, is the moment when you will do the research and realize there are even better places to do it. Even if there are better places to do so, you will most definitely want to visit Dubai to meet people and other opportunities. I will just stop here. There are more ways to do it, but it will take me 3 days to explain it, and I know you will get there when you start making money. Now let's go to the next part, how to spend your money. This is me just trying to help you not make the same mistakes I made. I fucked up and everything is connected here. Now, if you want spending money like crazy, there will be multiple issues here. I grew up poor, let's say middle class, but mostly poor. So when money hit me, I wanted everything I didn't have, literally everything. I wanted a supercar, a huge house, to travel, to eat out every single day. I gave money away helping people that asked me for it, some more, some less. So basically doing everything I couldn't before. It's amazing when you can do all that stuff. But what comes with that is sharing too much and spending too much. I will not go into detail with this since we already talked about it. But if you buy a supercar, everyone is going to look at you. When you buy a huge house or build one, it will attract different problems, and then you will have to think about security and privacy. When you start giving away money, majority of people are going to look at you as a fool, giving away money just because they asked, and that will spread even more. It sounds stupid, but it is like that. If you start eating out, you will taste things you never tasted before, since now you can pay for stupid shit like that. And it is all connected. When you do all of that, you will want to show your success. It is in our nature, proving everyone was wrong when they didn't believe us. Some people want to make others jealous, some want just to show off, right? Whatever it is, meaning posting on social media, showing off, everything is connected to the previous point we talked about, and that is being under the radar. The balance here is crucial. There are other issues like spending as much as you make, spending a lot. The issue there is emotions you will have. Firstly, you will feel powerful spending all that money and realizing you made all that money easy. When I say easy, of course it's not easy, but at the moment when you start making money, you will see how easy it actually is. But when you make some money, something like go over $1 million, you will feel invincible and you will spend a lot. Then you will realize you have to make the same year as the year before, making at least the same as the last year, or even more if you proved you can do it. That's the issue. Market doesn't care for what you want, it does what it wants. Even though you made some money, that is not the average you're going to make, or a fact that you will make the same money each year. Please do not rush spending money as I did. It took me 3 years to fix everything I did. If I was just a bit slower with spending, I would probably worth the double today, and that's a lot, like really a lot. Let me give you a really simple formula for this. This formula is for when you start making money. To be specific, whatever you're living from at this moment, even if it's you making through the month with, let's say, $1,500 or something like that, in some European countries living off $700 a month, whatever it is, you have to use this formula when you reach your threshold. Let's say you're living off $1,000 a month and then start earning money. Let's say you invested 1 month of your expenses, so your account is $1,000 and you're getting 30% monthly return, and you can just spend it, right? No problem. I'm talking about the 30% profit here, so I'm talking about $300. And then after a while you start making and pulling out of the account $900. It also depends on the size of your actual account, meaning you're not pulling out the money, your account is now 3,000 but you're making 900 on the 3,000 account, for example. Now listen to this. When you triple the amount you were making, in this case, let's say you're making a profit of $3,000 a month, that is just the profit. You have to follow this formula or you will be busted. Use 50% on your expenses, bills, food, accommodation and stuff like that. That amount is literally more than you had before you started, since it is $1,500 and you started living out of $1,000. By this time you already quit your job and just concentrate on trading. Then we go to the fun part. Then you use 25, 15, 10% rule. Use 25% for investing safe. Use 15% for fun and buying shit you want and like, whatever that is. Use 10% for gifts. Yes, just for that. You will not hear me telling you to save money or something like that. That is because we are talking about small sums here. When the budget goes over 10k monthly, I'm talking about return, then you can start saving. But again, differently than you think. Now, 25% for investing isn't for investing in shitcoins, it is for investing in long-term profits. It is same as saving, but with an edge that can literally make you much more money than you can imagine on the long run. I'm talking about stable investments, like stable cryptocurrencies and stable companies, stocks. I hope I don't have to explain this, but just stand with the 15% for fun and 10% for gifts until you go over 10k. Fun is also really important, since that will also make you connect with people and usually understand people even more, make you chill out, get your head straight and just relax. Of course, these rules don't apply when you get a lot more money, going over 10k, 100k, million, 2 million and so on. Do not be like me. I was spending a bunch of money on everything I dreamed about. It is nice to do something like that, but you will have a bunch of issues if you start doing it right away. It is nice when you start constantly making 10, 20, 50k a month, but it is totally different if you pull that money from the account or let it pile up and rise your entries. You will be amazed how quickly 10k amount goes to 100k amount if you stick to your strategy. You don't have to pull your money from the market all the time. When you enter a trade with 1, 2, 5k, don't think like, oh, I lived with 1k and now I'm putting 5k on a trade and I can lose it. If you start thinking like that, you will definitely fuck up your strategy. If you have a $100 account and go $5 in, you won't be worried at all, right? So why would you be worried if you invest 5k on a 100k account? It's literally the same amount percentage-wise. I'm not saying you should invest a lot. I'm not saying you should spend a lot. I'm just saying spend enough that doesn't mess with your trading. I'm the first one that spends like crazy now. But also I overspent at the beginning. And this entire video is about making you a millionaire. Go crazy with spending, but go crazy carefully. Here is the next point, and probably the one everybody was waiting for. Now let's go to the real deal, where I will explain how I did it, why this is a good strategy, and how money management can literally turn your life around in a matter of 20-30 days or something like that. So usually people on social media show you how they are making money daily, how they trade constantly and stuff like that. Again, ask yourself, why would someone work consistently if they're making money? The goal is to make a lot of money so you don't have to work anymore, and of course have financial freedom. I am trading today as well, but only when I'm bored. My forex trades now last 3 to 4 weeks, so it's not like I'm sitting there for 6-7 hours a day like I used to. I do come in to the market from time to time just to check what has happened on the market. Some days I trade binary options when I want some adrenaline and to have some fun. Also, I'm trading binary because I'm trying to make side money to literally spend on stupid stuff. The moment I feel like it's taking a toll on me, I immediately stop. The moment you start feeling emotional or you start stressing, maybe it's a bad day, just stop it immediately. Now, when you go over making some amount, going over your goal, you must be stupid to continue trading just for money. It all depends on your goals and what you actually want in life. For me, I wanted to keep money coming in, but not to be obligated to work. That was my end goal. I wanted to see the world without having to work, but only work when I want. I'm in Greece at the moment as I'm recording this. I'm in Greece for the past 2 months now. So first step is making enough money to go into forex trading. If you forgot, I starved to get the first investment of 500 euros in order just to start doing binary trading. Then I started constantly making returns. Also, do not forget that I was testing binary option strategies for at least 2 years before starting to trade. 2 years before starting to make any money. And yes, I made a strategy that has 80% success rate combined with just a tad of martingale, and because of that, it brings it over 90–93%. It sounds crazy, but it's a fact. If you're patient and you have bulletproof strategy for binary options only. I was sitting every day, anywhere from 25 minutes to 5–6 hours. It was bringing me great gains, but when you work with a small amount, you really don't feel it. My goal was making approximately 5% of the account a day on binary options. And please don't get me wrong, those are great numbers. Those are huge numbers. But on a small account, you don't actually think you made anything. That is what we are talking about here. Change your mindset to a long run. In my case, that was $25 a day. That is $250 a day if I had 5K to work with. That's also $2,500 a day if I had 50K to work with. Also, don't forget there will be losing days and bad days. It all depends. So return is awesome, but I wanted more and I wanted it fast. Of course, I tried literally everything doing my back testing, but while I'm back testing, I realized there are times when my strategy showed winning trades more than 25 times in a row, and that got me thinking. If I was strict with the strategy, I can at least have 15 wins in a row easily, since I proved it in my back testing that sometimes I was 25 times in a row successful. When I say easy 15 wins, I mean there is a high percentage of me doing it. So what if I flipped the martingale strategy? And that is exactly what I did. What I mean by that, there were some tournaments in IQ options. It's something like you invest $10 to get into the tournament, you get account for the tournament, and the one that has the biggest account after 12 hours, a day, weekend, that guy wins the tournament. I saw some people having accounts over 100K, something over $1 million in a matter of few hours. And I was, of course, let's track it, because you start with $1,000 or maybe $10,000. I saw some big accounts on the leaderboard soon going from 1 million or few million to a zero. I understood what they were doing, just trying to win the tournament mostly on luck. I asked myself, what would happen if I take some money from my account and simply just start playing the lotto on it, but with the upper hand? I'm talking the lotto as the lottery. So the idea is like this. If I take, for example, $10 and win a binary options trade on 80% return, I will earn $8, and that's great. But compounding it is an awesome thing. You take that 8 that you won and reinvest it with the initial 10 you invested. So in the next trade, you put $18 into the trade, and that will bring you $14.4. Then you do it again and you invest 18 plus 14.4, and that is 32.4, and so on. You get the idea. So here is something I was playing with back in the days. I started calculating, and as you can see, we see the number of times we entered. Next to it is the total investment. On the first entry, that is our first investment and the only amount we are actually risking here. So no matter if we lose on the first trade or the 20th, we're actually losing only our first investment and not huge amounts like we did on martingale strategy. But if we actually have winning trades 20 times in a row, we end up with $1.5 million in winner account. In this case, if I invest $12, I win $1.5 million after 20 successful trades, and I am the one choosing if I'm going into the trade or not. So it's not actually like the Lotto. There is a bigger chance to get this. We have more chance of making $1.5 million like this than on a Lotto ticket. So everything went like this. You already know I was testing and retesting for a long time. When I was 100% certain I was ready, I started in order to save 500 euros. That was my start investment. I did lose some money before all of that. I was listening to internet gurus, of course, and that's how I lost it. So picking myself back up, I started with 500 euros. And after 3 months, with a strict discipline, my account rose up to approximately $3,500. I was not taking money out of the account. Whenever I double the account, I double the investment, of course. When I say double the investment, it is just sticking with the same percentage of risk and return. A goal in my mind was to reach 20k and simply go from 5% goal to a 1.5 or 2% goal and keep it steady, basically taking less risk. Also having enough to put on a winning trade and gain what is lost if I had a losing trade. My goal was just taking it easy and having enough to live cozy, while also slowly topping my account and making even bigger returns. All of that sounds great, but when you see that everything is working great, you are becoming impatient, since the real money is in your reach, but it is not in your hands. That was the moment I started thinking about the Lotto strat. Let's call it the Lotto strategy. I had my mind set on doing it and making the big money the lucky way. Not exactly lucky, since the numbers are in my favor. During backtesting, I had streams of winning trades more than 20 times in a row. So it is a fact that I can do it if I stick to the strategy without any emotion, but with pure discipline and dedication. So what I started doing, this is when my account was around $3,500. I decided my initial bet will be $12, since my goal was making $1.5 million after 20 wins in a row. I decided I will have 20 times to play around and wait for my luck for this goal. When I say luck, I mean for something that has already happened, and that is more than 20 wins in a row. I will only risk $240 to get $1.5 million. Of course, I risked more than 240. I think it is close to 500, 600, 700, 800, I don't know. But all of that due to me having fun and risking more. I wasn't exactly strict with the strategy on the Lotto strat that was making me constant gains. So basically the strategy is the same as my regular strategy, but just transferring it to the Lotto strat. And the Lotto strat is only investing differently. So I knew my strategy works and I continued doing everything the same way I did. And when I ended my trading day, that was the moment I was switching to the Lotto strat. So as soon as I'm done with my regular day, I sit down and do the next part, dividing the day in 2 sessions. I was impatient. I didn't realize I can make it with the Lotto strategy. So for the first 13 times, I lost it all. When I say 13 times, I'm talking about 13 circles. Sometimes I reached 5, 6 in a row. Sometimes I reached 8, 9 in a row, meaning I reached making almost 2k out of $12. This doesn't mean I traded the Lotto strategy 8, 9 times a day. I was making 1 or maximum 2 Lotto trades a day, keeping track of everything and just going with the flow. So finishing the standard strategy, then waiting for the perfect entry and then making a winning Lotto trade. When I felt really tired or it was a 6-7 hour long day, then I didn't make the Lotto trade. So these trades lasted more than 4 months. Then something amazing happened when I started the Lotto strat the 14th time. Each day I was doing the same thing. As soon as I get my daily goal, I switched to the Lotto strat if I had the energy and patience. I realized I've been losing past 13 times because I was impatient. My mind was telling me I was risking a small amount to gain a lot and I don't have much to lose there. And that led me to not being strict with my original strategy on the Lotto strat when I am on a normal daily basis. Then I became determined to stick to it with discipline I'm doing daily, waiting for a perfect entry every single day while I was doing the Lotto strat. And I said to myself, I will do only 1 Lotto entry a day. But even if I see a great entry, I would wait for that 99% strategy win trade. So being even crazier, more patient, even more disciplined with the strict strategy I already had in place. Even then, I wasn't convinced about it and doubted everything. But also being true to the things you decided is what this is all about. I didn't trade when I felt I was uncertain and just skipped those days when I felt tired after trading the normal daily strat. It is literally like having two accounts. You don't care if you lose the Lotto one, but at the same time, you care about being strict with your strategy on the Lotto one. And then it happened. It's not what you think it is. I reached 11 wins in a row. Realized I literally got plus 7k on a 4k account. To be exact, $7,712 out of $12. So when I saw my total account is over 11k, I panicked and decided to stop the Lotto strat there. I didn't want to risk those gains. And then I started from the beginning. Initial $12 investment and doing the Lotto strat all over again. I got 3 in a row next time and lost the 4th. If I didn't stop it, I would win 14 times in a row and lost on the 15th. I could have reached 44k and then stopped there if I didn't go into the next trade. That literally means I would have lost 44k chasing 80k. Listen to this carefully. You have to start understanding yourself. You have to understand what is happening to you and why that is happening to you. That is the way to be in front of the money-making life. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to understand yourself and your emotions. And that's the moment I was determined. I was going to make millions. I had proof in front of me. That's how I ended up where I am today. Determination. That's the moment I told myself I'm going to make shit ton of money and just enjoy life. So what happened next? I continued doing the Lotto strat. I reached 5 times in a row, then reached 10 times in a row, then reached few 7s, 1 3, 1 2, bunch of 9s and 10s after that. Months have passed, but I was sticking to the original strategy for making my account rise no matter what. Then after that, sticking to the Lotto strat. No emotions, no nothing. It happened so many times doing backtesting, I knew it was possible. Again, don't let your hopes get the best of you just yet. I'm not telling you fairy tale stories like all of the internet people out there. I'm telling you just facts. At the moment, my account was reaching close to 18k, 11 wins on a Lotto strat at the moment. And also knowing my backtesting showed that it's possible to reach 20. So I continued. The next day, it was 12 in a row. Then the next day came. I got a successful trade on a 13th in a row. My mind was telling me just go for it. Even though my account was plus 24k at the moment, more than doubling what I already had. I was dedicated into going over a mil. I reached 15 in a row. That is more than plus 80k. I was literally cold as ice. I didn't look at it as money I can buy something with. So the next day came around. I was imagining losing it all and getting back to 10k. I literally felt pain in my chest from imagining that. I can buy a new car, already had a great restaurant in my mind. I literally couldn't continue. So I just stopped the Lotto strat and went back to initial 12 investment and start over. I'm talking about the same day. Do you know what happened? I had a winning trade on the Lotto strat that day. That one hit me really hard. My mind just imagined I continued. I would have over 140k on my account. It was hurting my brain. I stopped trading for 5 days. I had to cool off. I was too emotional. I was happy and stressed at the same time. I used those 5 days to think about everything and think about the strategy, think about the Lotto strat, my own strat, everything. To think about the initial investment, think about returns, and then I pulled out 30k out of the account. I couldn't believe it. After that 5 days, I went back into trading. Everything was going great. Daily strat was working. I lost the Lotto strat on the 4th entry. I didn't feel anything at the moment, even though later I realized if I didn't stop, I would have reached 470k before losing it. It is so funny when you see the math works, but you can't actually do anything because emotions get the best of us. To finish explaining this part faster, my brain went back into playing around since I was too secure with the daily strat. For 3-4 months, nothing happened on the Lotto one. Then I reached 12 in a row, and that's when things got interesting. So this is the 3rd time I'm making a lot. At that moment, my account was over 140k. Then I reached 18 in a row, and that was it. I pocketed the money, and that's the moment I realized the game is mine. Nothing can beat math as long as I'm just relaxed and follow the strat. Just to be clear, that's close to $500,000. And after that, everything is easy. It is easy to make money when you have money. As we mentioned before, investing is important. I bought a small apartment to rent it out, just to have the money coming in no matter what. I had enough finances to go into Forex and have less stress. And then after 2 years, realized I don't have to work anymore. I just killed the game. Having constant gains raised my standards. Returns are stable and there is nothing to think about anymore. Then I started a school, but it was only mouth to mouth. And that trading school was more as a job interview than a school. Difference with me is I interviewed people who were interested, then invested in equipment, an office, and started teaching them what to do. I was giving them a paycheck while they were learning, but also I had a contract with them in place. I was giving them a paycheck, risking on them, but they are obligated to trade for me for the next 3 years. They were getting 30% of the gains on top of the salary, and also a bunch of people lost me money, but 4 of them made more than I could think of. And yes, there were issues. As always, when you work with people, you're gonna encounter issues. Some had to be fired, some didn't like the terms, some didn't appreciate what they had, but at the end, it was worth it. Maybe it doesn't sound fair now that you know what can be done, but also when all of them started, it felt amazing just learning and getting paid for, right? Just imagine me paying you now for teaching you everything. But what happened is they start making money, they see a lot of money, and then the issues arise. And guess what? There wouldn't be any issues if I didn't teach them everything they know now. How funny is that? That's why I may sound nasty, but I'm not. I'm just being realistic. Literally nobody helped me, and I had issues with almost everyone I helped. Now let's talk about how I'm making money today. The school is closed now. It was too much work for me, too much stress for me, working with people. Now I have 3 people in total left from all of the people that went through my school. They became my real friends. All of them were grateful and saw that their life has changed because of me. After first 3 years, all 3 of them went on their way, but started giving me 20% of their returns just as a thank you. And that's a lot of money. I also invested in a bunch of businesses. More than 50% of them failed, but the rest are giving great returns. I invested in real estate, but of course it is cheaper to build than buy. Keep that in mind as well. I invested in a bunch of stock, crypto, commodities. Whatever you think of, I invested it in. As I said, it is easy to make money when you have it. My life has totally turned over. I'm traveling all the time and just enjoying life. But it took me a couple of years. It's more than a couple. If you think you will make big money fast without any luck, you're wrong. So stop believing people earning 20k on binary options within 10 minutes on a 5k account and stupid stuff like that, please. Also, never forget the times when you didn't have anything. I remind myself every day on the times I didn't have anything. Literally just eating soup daily. I'm reminding myself how I made it every single day. Now let's go to the next part. The best strategy and my strategies. We talked about almost everything here. Of course, there is much more I can talk about for each point. This is already too much for me. I couldn't record everything in one take. And you have everything needed to make millions now. Literally. Find a good strategy that is consistent, play around, do a bunch of backtesting. When your strat goes over 60-70% win rate, it is only a matter of time when you will reach any goal you have. I also gave you hints all over the video on how to approach and tweak your strategy. Really important thing, don't make strategy complicated. I tested tons of indicators, mixed all of them to work together, tried trend lines, candles, news, everything. Do not overcomplicate it. It is a great strategy if it's simple and boring. You have tons of people out there showing you their strategies. Try it out, but have in mind, boring equals better. Remind yourself that you are making a strategy to make money, not be entertained. Simplicity is the key here. Now, I don't have a school anymore, and I explained why. I don't like working with people. I love my peace and will not let anything ruin it anymore. I recorded this only because my girlfriend and a friend who is an editor, and he is actually editing this video, they pointed out few really nice things about this. I don't have to waste my time this way, and there are no taxes involved. Also, also giving you my strategy that is working 100% guaranteed, and it took me years of backtesting while no one helped me, giving you that on a plate without you doing any work, and all of that to give away for free. That is ridiculous, and I am not crazy. I recorded a video explaining all my binary option strategies, money management, and how to grow your account guaranteed, including forex strategies and investments. Everything explained step by step. But before you can get it, there are some rules. First, you have to understand that you will not be in contact with me until you reach some point. Even when you reach it, it is not guaranteed we will be in touch. It is all up to you. Second, you can find a Telegram link in the description. That is my assistant John's Telegram. He made that account just for this. And that is not his real name, of course. You watched the video and hopefully you know names are something that is not for the public, at least for us. Third, John will not chit-chat with you. He is firstly my assistant and then everything else. When you contact him, you are contacting him to get the video and a shortcut to money, nothing else at the moment. Fourth, he will not answer a bunch of questions since all the information you need is right here. Do not waste his time. Fifth, after you transfer funds, you will get the link to the video and that's it. Watch it, take the shortcut and earn money. That is perfectly fine. I was thinking hard about how many people should get it and how much should it cost. I was thinking about how hard it was for me to get the money at the beginning. $1,000 is too much, $500 is too little for something that has a guarantee, so I decided it's going to be $850, but not limitless. I will give this away to the first 1,177 people. If you do the math, you will realize why it is exactly 11,077 people. I had a big investment recently and I paid it with crypto. That's why I want to get some back. And that's why the sixth rule is here. You can only get this with crypto. I'm literally giving you gold, and what did you think? I will pay taxes on it? Of course not. That is also one of the reasons I listened to them and agreed to make this. You literally have everything you need in this video already without buying. But if you want a shortcut to save time or something like that, I have no issues with it. You can pay with almost any crypto except shitcoins. Seventh rule is for two types of people. Ones that want the shortcut and the ones that are already in the market making gains. Anyway, I don't care if you get the shortcut or not. When you go over 1 million, contact John. You will have to show proof of your gains. If your gains are legit, you will get my contact and we will have a small chat before anything else. My real goal here is to make a new crew that will literally obliterate the market. A crew that will join us and get the rest of the knowledge and make an empire. I want people that are done with this system we're living in. People that are stubborn, disciplined, dedicated, and relentless when it comes to making money. And I think that's it. Nothing else to say here anymore. I'm off to have a day without talking. Have a strong strategy in place. Don't be emotional. Be strict. Be dedicated. Be disciplined. Make money.